Alright, here we go. This is a 1v1 match on symbol between the blue player on the left side, doominator10 in the standard Neo, and on the green player on the right side, GVSUKIRBY in the normal, everyday, standard, run-of-the-mill chopper. And for the rest of this match, for simplicity purposes, I will be calling him Kirby. And this is a replay sent in by doominator10. A big thanks to Doominator for sending in this replay. And if you take a look at the loadouts, it's very interesting because both of these players have actually two socket units, socketable units like socket main. Doominator has one lunchbox and moneymaker. The moneymaker is the typical one, especially, and also on the green side, Kirby also has a moneymaker. But he also has a generator. And typically in a 1v1 loadout, you really don't see that. You really typically see one moneymaker, and that's it for the 1v1 loadout. Usually people don't bother with the generators, and usually, especially, people don't really bother with the lunchbox. Lunchbox is actually much less typical. Doominator putting down armadillos with the backs facing toward the attacking units, which is really something that you don't want to do. He is doing it because he was trying to kind of get away at the same time, turn back at the same time as dropping his Dillos, which is, it's okay, but maybe shoot in the direction that you want to face it. Doominator does take it right at the beginning, but if you take a look, Kirby already has two artillery firing in here, and he already is starting to push some Dillos up here. Doominator has not fully cleared the neutrals, and obviously now the middle outpost has gone back down to neutral. Our armadillos are coming up here for Kirby, and I do not think they will be able to last very long, especially with and Doominator has a big queue of bombs, and they are starting to take down more green units. There is a big cluster of Dillos over there, and GVSUKIRBY is forced to take them out of the area. Doominator now bringing up on Longhorn. Longhorn, actually, Doominator has two different kinds of tanks. He has a Rebel in his loadout, and he has bombs. He only has, he doesn't have any Uber units. Any late game units such as the Bertha or the Goliath. He doesn't have any artillery, and he doesn't have any healing units. This is an extremely atypical 1v1 loadout, and GVSUKIRBY spamming missiles as much, or rockets, chopper rockets, as much as he possibly can right now, and it's not really doing anything because it is only air-to-air when you are in the air. Or not air-to-air, but when you are in the air, it'll only target AirMechs. It will not go to the ground and attack units. And now Doominator doing a lot of bombing, killing quite a lot of units over here. It is kind of clearing the front line for Kirby. Kirby picking up an artillery, but that's about it. That's pretty much all he saved. He is going to save that Seeker, but Doominator is not letting up on the bombs. He finally does now. Is just making an armadillo, and now is he going to decide to drop tanks? He is dropping his tanks down, but almost goes down to Kirby right there. And Kirby dropping boomers. This will neutralize this outpost. This outpost is neutral, and Doominator now has to wait for his creep to creep in. And now Kirby again with more boomers, and this only has 3 lights up, 2 lights up for blue. Doominator will be able to retake this, but once again dropping the boomers, Kirby, and there's only 1 blue light left. I would have expected, because he has it in his loadout, that Doominator would put a lunchbox down on the far pad, but he has not done that yet. But right now, Kirby is actually advancing, putting an armadillo over here, killing the units that were placed over here for Doominator. And now this outpost is neutral once again. This artillery has not been contested at all. It has free reign to attack on the mid, and now he still hasn't reclaimed it. Kirby with more boomers in queue. He has. I don't know how he's just gonna probably try to continually neutralize. No, he's taking out tanks. He just took out 1 Dillo with that. I don't know if that's really worth it. Boomers are really cost efficient, but if you're gonna use that many on a tank, then you should probably use it in support. The boomers are extremely useful in support, especially supporting a larger army, because all the units that you have over there, besides the boomers, are drawing aggro from the other units, from the enemy units. So it is really effective. For example, maybe Kirby can do a small push with these 3 mobile units, and has already 2 over here, and now can probably draw more boomers. He is queuing up more boomers. Doominator does go down to Kirby, and now Kirby has a small opening to be able to take this down. I did comment previously in I think at least two videos that Neo is not a big deal if you die just because it has a small respawn time. But I don't know where I got that in my head, but Neo actually is tied with Warthog for the longest respawn time, at least the last time I checked the spreadsheet. So yeah, dying as a Neo, not that great. So Kirby, I mean, dying as any mech is not that great, but just less. They're even more disadvantageous if you die as a Neo or a Warthog. And now Doominator once again has control of this outpost. It's kind of interesting if you see these are two diagonal lights that are lit. But you know, he does have control. I don't know for how long though. He is losing a lot more units than Kirby is. Kirby had 2 dead units over here, but he has a lot of army units right here, and Doominator is not really producing the way that he should. He's making a lot of consumables. These bombs are actually, you know, not really throwing credits away, but he really has to pick up the pace if he wants to use consumables to take out an entire army that is not really like, you know, artillery is keeping you and your units away, so you have to use bombs or something. He is just using bombs to kill as much as he can, and he is literally really using all of his credits to generate these bombs. And if he was using tanks instead, he probably would have been able to put up a really good fight. Especially since he was on the high ground, he has control of mid. He can just simply drop right there down to the bottom. And right now, Kirby has another 4 boomers in queue. Oh, they will go off. Oh, and do explode that tank. And Doominator now forced to go get some creeps. He does not have control of mid anymore, and he will take it. I do not think he will keep it for very long. There are more boomers going down, and a lot of creeps are coming up over here. GVSUKIRBY is bringing a Dillo over here, and will he bring the rest of his Dillos over? If he starts spamming, not really spamming, but ferrying all of his units over here, Doominator has nothing over here, so Kirby will be able to take, you know, do a really good job in taking this mid outpost. And now he is not letting up. He is moving more units to this power station, and there are 3 infantry and 1 Dillo, and now Doominator is forced to put defenses down there instead of trying to advance to mid. That is a really good reason to advance your units, just like you saw Kirby do, because now the pressure is no longer on mid. The pressure is right here on this neutralized outpost. And this power station is not even, okay, finally gets retaken by Doominator, but Doominator is, now sending rebels out to distract. Kirby is going to have to deal with this. He probably did send them to attack, and rebels take a really long time to die. Kirby is going to bring a Dillo over here to try to deal with the rebels, but I'm not really sure if that's really going to do anything. It's just a single Dillo, and rebels take forever to die. If I were Kirby, I would just straight up put those Dillos on my front door where the rebels are eventually going. And now Doominator has more units over here on the bridge. He is going to have a lot of time over here. Well, he did while Kirby was distracted over there by those rebels, which was really good use of his units, really good use of Doominator's units, to make that clear. But now Doominator is making bombs. I really am not agreeing with this. There is not enough clumped up units on Kirby's side to really warrant this kind of heavy use of all these bombs, and Kirby is getting such a better, you know, use of his credits by using these boomers instead of bombs. He's throwing, I mean, it's kind of throwing away units just because you are making a consumable unit there in those boomers, but in terms of how much they cost each and what the kind of damage you're getting off for each successful boomer explosion is so much better than using bombs. But you know, bombs is a very common thing you see Neos use, especially because you do get to use those cloak bombing drops that are really effective against those heavily hat-fortified areas. But now this middle area is completely in favor of Doominator. He has way more units than Kirby. Kirby is really scrambling to build as much as he possibly can. He has complete cube full of Dillos, but every time he puts a Dillo down, he really has to save another Dillo from getting destroyed. Right now he is micro-healing them up, and there is not that much contesting all the blue units over here. Doominator actually hasn't been able to bring that many more units over here, and that Longhorn will go down unless Doominator saves it. No, he does not, but he does throw down the EMP, which does have a very large effect on the fire rate of these Dillos. It practically halves all of them that he hits in terms of DPS. Doominator very low on life. Kirby did not, use that to shoot him down. But he is once again low on life. Will Kirby be able? No, Kirby is not really shooting. He's just spamming missiles. When you're over an outpost and you are a chopper, spamming missiles is a very viable option. But at this moment, Doominator is really not landing at all. So spamming missiles isn't really going to be that effective, especially against a super quick moving Neo. And once again with the bombing drops, and at this time he is using it very, very effectively because Kirby had a lot more units clumped up. And in terms of the number of units, kind of like the bomb hits to number of bomb used ratio, Doominator had a lot better success there, hitting a lot more green units. But now Kirby grabbing creeps, gonna start to spam the infantry over here at this power station. Doominator has not been able to take out the last few creeps that were dropped, and Kirby is spamming his missiles over here, but it's really not doing anything. Doominator is not on the ground, and if he's in the air, he's practically almost always over his outpost. Now Doominator with creeps, is he going to try to, oh no, he's probably just going to drop him to retake these bulbs. And now Kirby has a lot of dillos over here. If I were him, at this point he should start making artillery firing in, because look at all these rebels. There are no artillery on the field for either side, for either player, and that's really, really something you need to do, especially for this, the mid to forward battle between pretty much any map except, I guess, Sandrum, and Twin Peaks doesn't really have it either. But any map, when you're having a battle for mid, you really have to send put artillery down to take care of that stuff. And right now, a big push of rebels over to I'm pretty sure it's going to go to Kirby's fort. Doominator is trying bombing runs, and it really is splitting Kirby's attention. Now these rebels are over here going for the main, and Kirby is having this deal with all these bombing runs, and now pretty much Doominator wins one way or another. Now he is bringing the rebels to the front door. Even though they do attack light, they are going to be an extreme nuisance for Kirby. That terrifying damage sound will pop up, and there are a lot of rebels all around his base. Well, four is still a pretty good number, and now Doominator is going to push in with Longhorn, not Dillo. These are Longhorn, and they will be able to take down these Dillos very, very quickly. And Doominator again with the bomb support. Kirby actually is already level 7 and is building Dillos, or building Goliaths now, but I don't think he'll be able to pull him out of this mid. No, does not, because it is neutralized, but he is going to pull it out of his power station, his forward. But Doominator bringing creeps over will be able to take this eventually. I don't think Kirby's going to be able to stop this, especially with so many blue units surrounding it. He does take this. Doominator does take this, but Kirby has a lot of Goliaths in queue. If I were him, maybe I might want to try to surprise Doominator with a bunch of Goliaths all at the same time. That will probably throw him off guard, and it will take him by surprise. But now Doominator dropping a Longhorn on the other side of this outpost. Does not really drop it kind of where I would think you should drop it, kind of out of the fire of that Dillo. But now Kirby is bringing our infantry over here to distract Doominator, and it sort of worked, but it's sort of not. They probably will be able to neutralize this outpost eventually, and they do. But the thing is, Doominator doesn't really have to do anything but wait for the creeps to come there. But now Doominator has use this area, or not Doominator, Kirby with that infantry drop has forced Doominator to put a lot of defenses down, and now Kirby coming with the Goliath push. He has 4 out on the field coming for mid, gonna go on the bridge, and I don't know if this will be enough. They are kind of spread far apart. If I were Kirby, I probably would have maybe pulled the first ones back so they can come in a closer bunch. The first one will go down very quickly, and the other 3, and he is picking up this other one, and if he makes a good enough spread, he will be able to, and another Goliath comes out on the field. Doominator doing the EMP, which really, really affects his Goliath. He does have level 2 EMP, so he will have a much shorter cooldown than if he had just level 1. Now the bomb's coming out, not really that great against the Goliath. He really needs to start micro healing his tanks up, and he does not yet. A lot of them do go down. There were two Goliaths out here for Kirby, and he has another one in cargo and 2 more in build. And now Doominator is actually, I would say, he is winning this battle, this short skirmish right here. But I don't know. Kirby has a lot of Goliaths, and he is not stopping. But he really needs to pick this one up and heal it. He really needs to pick this one up and heal it. Will he be able to get it in time? Yes, he does. Barely. Wow, look how little life it had left, and he is not going to be able to be taken out. There's such a short distance between outposts on Simple that, you know, you can really ferry things back and forth without that much fear, especially in a 1v1. In a 3v3, it is kind of scary because they do start, you know, all three players on the opposite team start to just fire in like crazy, and so just entering that area is really just becomes kind of just an area where you die. And now Doominator sending more rebels to distract. This will be I think this will be a very effective use of those credits. Kirby will have to go back and respond to that unless he has base defenses, which he doesn't really. Oh, he does have armadillos over there, so the rebels will be able to take care of it, but I think it will be enough to distract Kirby for at least a short amount of time. And he does have 3 Goliaths. Oh no, 2. He has 2 Goliaths over here. And now where is Doominator going? He went to reposition that rebel. The rebel is not in the line of fire of any of those armadillos, so Kirby will be hearing this damage sound for a really long time until he handles that. Unfortunately for him, oh, he is trying to go for the forward. He will probably get taken down here. Yes, before he gets to his outpost, he does get taken down, and those Dillos are going for this this outpost. But Doominator has quite a lot of tanks in this area. He really doesn't have to worry about it. Just leaves, and now what is he going to do with this Longhorn? Ooh, he does put it at this outpost. It is shooting at a moneymaker, but now this other Longhorn is here to get this armadillo, and now this outpost is completely unguarded. Is Kirby going to start, you know, using? No, he is going straight again for Doominator's fort, and does. Oh, he's gonna get taken down again. He will be followed. Oh no, does not get followed quick enough. I could have sworn Doominator would have got that because he is a Neo. But he did not get that. But those Dillos, those stray Dillos are going for the front door. Doominator is gonna have to handle this somehow, and is getting chased down by Kirby. He really needs to heal up and get some energy. But instead, he is going for just bringing more Longhorn over here to this outpost, and now finally has to go back. Is probably gonna just drop some door blocking units, but actually his level 4 creeps have already taken care of that. And yeah, that was kind of funny. He didn't actually have to go back because level 4 creeps are quite OP, especially against Dillos. But Kirby does take care of the Longhorn that were dropped over here, and is trying to follow back Doominator, but will not. Once again, short distances between outposts on Simple, just crazy. Doominator bringing, ooh, the front door was open, but he does not choose to pull one. He puts one on the corner, out of the line of fire for, you know, out any of those defending armadillos. And now Kirby bringing armadillos to the fort you know, to Doominator's fort, will get chased down and get killed. And now Doominator already has 2 Dillos. He will be able to block them, but I think those are going to actually get taken down before the green Dillos because they were slightly under fire, I think, at one point. Either that or pretty much at the same time. And this rebel is still shooting at this outpost at the corner, and Doominator now, you know, creating quite sizable force of tanks. He is kind of making a shooting gallery for these other tanks down here on this bridge, but he is going again with the bombs. The bomb. It's not really, I mean, okay, and Kirby does save that Goliath. If he was going to save one thing, it had to be Goliath, but actually it was probably in the least amount of danger just because it has the most HP in that area, so I probably would have picked up the Dillo first and then the Goliath, just so I would ensure that I had 2 units alive instead of just 1. But now Kirby trying to progress, you know, trying to leapfrog his units up, but he's doing it very linearly and directly in the line of fire of Doominator. Is very dangerous, and that armadillo does go down. He just has that 1 Goliath and another one in queue, but his power station does go neutral. Going back, oh, and he obviously thought that he still had that power station and tried to heal it, you know, tried to hover over it to heal, and Doominator just took him out of the sky. And now Doominator ferrying tanks over to the low ground is going to be able to take this power station pretty easily, since Kirby is just now respawning. That Goliath is probably going to die very quickly. There is another Dillo on the other side of that power station. Kirby is here to bring creeps, but even though it gets, you know, if it goes back up to green, it will get neutralized very quickly because of all those surrounding Dillos. Or not surrounding Dillos, surrounding tanks. And it does go back down. There is 1 blue light up, and Doominator has a lot of rebels over here. I cannot believe there hasn't been any artillery except for those maybe initial ones that were made by Kirby. There are no artillery made on this simple match, and it's just so atypical to me. It's just so strange to see, but that is what's happening, and Doominator has to deal with this backdoor drop. He does block very nicely. I'm pretty sure all of those are not attacking at all, and he does chase down Kirby. I'm pretty sure he's going to get him. does get him. He is level 11 already, and he is way ahead, not way ahead, but significantly ahead of Kirby in the levels, especially considering this is just a 1v1. Now putting the lunchbox down, that will, I mean, we are already in quarter 4, so it will be only effective for, I guess, another 5 minutes and 37 seconds. So that is, you know, it's not that really 100% effective, you know, value use out of that lunchbox. But oh, and mid has gone down neutral also. Just a lot of stray units everywhere, neutralizing outposts left and right, especially because they are not defended. But instead of going for mid, Doominator does decide to go for this power station, and there is a Dillo over there. He does bring 2 more tanks to deal with it, so he probably will be able to secure this fairly well, especially because if you look at all the units out on the field for both teams, they are pretty much, and those I think 1 or 2 of those boomers went off, but the other 2 were killed by all the Longhorn there. So I mean, Kirby could kind of start pushing his Armadillo with a lot of boomer support, and I think it would probably come out pretty even between these 2 armies. But actually, at this point, Doominator has a lot more units on the field and is not really, I mean, he has this forward power station on Kirby's side, so I would assume at this point he probably should start putting down more moneymakers. He isn't starved for power at all. He is 123, but I mean, yeah, he should really just start spamming the tank button. Whatever the tank button is for him, he really should start spamming it, especially Longhorn. He is making more rebels. I guess they are cheap, but once again, he has, well, I guess he is a little starved for credits. If he put more moneymakers down, it would really be really effective, but I guess at this point it's not really necessary. He is way ahead, and he is going to be able to take this game eventually from Kirby. And there are some stack creeps coming over here for Doominator. They are ripping up these Dillos, but he really should start pushing the Longhorn and you know, the rest of his tanks up, because he has all this level 4 creep support. Doominator doing what he can with his rockets, but it's really not going to be enough, especially because Doominator isn't landing, Doominator isn't staying in the same area for a long time, and those rockets are extremely slow. Kirby does get shot out of the sky by Doominator, and now this outpost will go. This is kind of just a step-by-step, one at a time push toward the right side for Doominator, and he is really able, he was really able to take advantage of that bottom lane that leads directly to the fort of Kirby. And Kirby now coming back with boomers. He really needs to drop and draw the aggro from all these tanks, or else these boomers are just going to all get killed. None of them go off. I'm pretty sure none of them went off there, and even his level 4 creeps are all dead. Kirby is really behind here, and Doominator really needs to pick it up to be able to did I say Kirby or Doominator? But Kirby really needs to start picking it up. He does have Goliaths, and that's the one really major thing that he has that Doominator does not have. And I guess he's not directly aware of it, but he is aware that, but you know, he does have Goliaths, and Doominator does not. So if he starts building up way more Goliaths, he's actually bringing it to the front door. Is he going to bring it to the front door? No, he brings it to the side. There's nothing on the front door. If the front door is completely empty and you're doing a fort drop, drop it at the front door. It takes double damage, and it will, I mean, it literally will be twice as fast as anything you're trying to do. Kirby obviously got taken out there because he was in the area for way too long, and you know, a lot of times you see players dropping, doing some tank drops and faking, you know, faking leaving the area, and then once the mech, the defending mech, decides to drop to defend, or you know, drop a blocking unit to defend, and then, you know, kind of hit the back of the tank, you sort of come back and take that tank and then reposition it. So that's one common technique that Kirby could have done just there. And now he is a level 11 with 3 carry capacity, or level 3 carry chopper, and he is able to carry 3 Dillos over here. I actually think he would have been able to carry 2 Longhorns and 1 Dillo, but I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, he does bring them all the way over here and brings them to the side door. I do not know. Doominator is only able to block very minimally, and yes, now Kirby is repositioning, microing them around the fort. He really should put at least one on the front door, and he really needs to put them on completely different areas. He is trying to retreat here and will get away. No, does not get away. The thing is, he did have to, you know, retreat all the way back to his fort, and I'm pretty sure those those Dillos that he dropped are gone. But now he is respawning. It's going to take a lot of time because he's already level 11. Doominator already hitting level 14. We are in overtime 1, almost hitting overtime 2. Doominator is bringing these tanks up, and he really can just push. There is pretty much nothing guarding the front door except for a single Goliath, and if he just pushed everything he has over, which is not that much. I mean, okay, it's a lot compared to what Kirby has. He would have been able to pretty much kill him, either that or almost kill him, and it would have been pretty easy to just drop a tank or two at the side or on the front to be able to finish him off. But now just dropping Dillo after Dillo, these back Dillos, this back line of tanks is not firing at this front line, so he really should move everything a lot closer, just because you really want to make sure everything is being used to the fullest. And now dropping 2 Longhorn on attack, but those Longhorn are almost dead. You really need to keep an eye on those life bars before you before you send some stuff out or even drop stuff, just because they might just be completely useless drop. They might die almost immediately, and that's kind of what those Longhorn are going to do, or just did. I'm kind of confused with all this smoke, but yeah, he really needs to, he really should have just healed them up before he dropped them out. The Goliath on the front door is the only thing that Kirby has left, and this is just really kind of his last ditch effort to be able to hold on here. He is just killing it up over and over again. Kirby is just dropping more boomers, but in the midst of all those tanks, they are gonna just die immediately. Level 4 creeps already reaching the end of the line here, this fort for Doominator, but it's Kirby is actually doing a pretty good job healing this tank up. Doominator is doing bombs again. That's really not something you need to do anymore. If he just spent all those credits and invested them into tanks instead, then he could just end this game pretty much immediately. I actually think he could just end this game right now by putting all of those Dillos and Longhorns on attack. And he is just moving them over, ferrying them one at a time, leapfrogging them. But the thing is, because he's putting them all out in the open, they die much more quickly than if he pushed them all at once. But now, finally starting to surround the fort, he is going to get this victory over Kirby eventually if he just continues what he's doing. Kirby doesn't have many credits left, especially, he really needs to start blocking with his units, but he's not going to have enough to be able to keep up with what Doominator has coming all around his fort. And he does try to drop at the front door, but that Goliath is sitting right there. It looks kind of funny, actually, that Goliath sitting there, but Kirby does go down. Doominator does finish him off. This ranked match, this ranked 1v1 does go to doominator10. This is RUI, and that's game. See you next time.